it is true, the trade is still scandalously stupid, but it becomes a scandal of an entirely different level if it is.
It really don't make a difference if you say he or she.
BRITTNEY GRINER is a man. Well, come on now. This is another conspiracy situation, but you see this picture. No shirt. It's apparently an old photo.
Welcome back to the Buzzer Update. Fans of the WNBA, severe allegations made by Matt Walsh about BRITTNEY GRINER and the WNBA have sparked a huge uproar. The story has generated a great deal of discussion about what was purportedly concealed and why Sophie Cunningham's earlier remarks are now being discussed again. However, what is the true nature of the controversy and what claims are being made? We'll dissect everything you need to know and separate the claims from the facts. Let's go right into today's video and dissect everything. The management staff is in a state of panic as the WNBA faces a significant ideological crossroads, with leading sports commentators publicly significant ideological crossroads, and the leading figures in sports commentary are dismantling the league's double standards on national television.
As you may expect, it's got a lot of people asking the same question. Is that really a she? Now that I think about it, it kind of makes sense that when she was in Russia, that they decided to put her in a men's.
The initial aggressive push by corporate media to advance political narratives has completely backfired, igniting a heated public debate that spans from mainstream news programs to big podcast studios.
Griner now adding her voice to the debate over transgender athletes. She's a WNBA star, slamming the push to ban biological men from competing against biological women.
So when someone like BRITTNEY Griner says, actually, I'm going to fight for men to play in women's sports, it's just another blow against lots of young female athletes.
The show's host, Matt Walsh, criticized the sports establishment, claiming that they have placed themselves in such a preposterous position that they are unable to even define what a woman is. The hard facts. Matt Walsh conveyed the hard facts. By Matt Walsh.
On the podcast, one of the things that made him wake up to this issue is he's an MMA fighter.
Correct.
Biological males who are transitioning to female, beating the hell out of biological females in the ring. He started to think,
What are we doing?
What are we doing here? Like,
that.
why are we cheering this up?
I assumed that was the case from the beginning. I assume it because I reflexively disbelieve everything this administration says. Also because a Griner or no one offer from Russia makes it easier on the White House. Russia would actually be doing the White House a favor by saying, we'll give you her or we'll give you nobody. Because it just makes it a simpler choice. But Russia's not interested in making things easier. It puts Biden in a more precarious and politically difficult situation to make him choose which American he wants. And so it just makes logical sense that Russia would prefer to put him in that situation. Especially because they likely knew that he would humiliate himself and his country by extension by choosing the lesbian basketball player over the Marine.
Demonstrating how biological reality is based on basic genetics, XX chromosomes for women and XY for men, and warned that allowing biological males to play female sports completely compromises the fundamental protections that Title IX was intended to provide.
The WNBA have an onus of responsibility to be able to ensure that it's fair playership, though. I don't know if playership's a word.
For college sports and for the WNBA too, 100%. I mean, I don't think it's ever okay for guys to be playing girl sports, but if this is true, then she was like the origin of this epidemic.
Running that jail in Russia. She was running it.
Matt Walsh raised awareness of the divisive political environment in the WNBA during the discussion, emphasizing how outspoken, reasonable athletes like Sophie Cunningham are forced to defend biological reality against league narratives that ignore basic science.
You have a tremendous platform, but where is that going to be on your radar in terms of advocating for athletes, all athletes, transgender athletes to be able to play?
Oh, I mean, that ranks high on the list of things that I'll be fighting for and speaking up against. You know, everyone deserves the right to play.
The WNBA's BRITTNEY Griner is a man.
That's not a woman. That's not a female. That's not even a trans person. That is a man.
BRITTNEY Griner is, in fact, a man.
The hostility increased when WNBA veteran BRITTNEY Griner publicly entered the national conversation. On video, Griner proclaimed that everyone has the right to play women's sports and pledged to use her position to aggressively promote trans athletes, while criticizing ongoing efforts to bar biological men from competing.
It really don't make a difference if you say he or she to me. Like when I'm out in public, like my teammates sometimes will get mad if somebody call me a he, but I'm just like, I don't care. Like, you know, we go sit down and get some food and they're like, sir, what do you want? I'm like, yeah, let me get the steak, medium well. Thank you. I'm in TSA and I'm going through TSA and, you know, the guy pats me down so I could go through. I'm cool. I didn't have people come running like, no, it's a girl. I'm like, hey, you're making it awkward. Yeah. Like, I'm just trying to get through. Whoever could pat me down the fastest, I don't care.
Yeah.
I've had the opposite where someone was like, hey, you know, it's just against the rules. Like, he can't pat you down. Like, she has to pat you down. And then she walks up and she's looking at me. She goes looking at my chest, looking me up and down, looking at my chest, trying to look at the ID, making it awkward. Or they'll ask me, you really a girl? Nah.
Major news networks immediately denounced her comments. Author Douglas Murray publicly condemned Griner's comments as a horrible blow to thousands of committed female athletes around the country, pointing out that her stance purposefully undermines young women competing for hard-earned roster spots, fair podiums, and college scholarships.
Deserves the right to play, so she's now weighed in on this. She's got a big voice.
I suppose it's sort of lucky that BRITTNey Griner's not just starting off, because if these are the rules when she was starting off, then the whole thing might be different. The problem we have in America on this is that there's a very distinct lack, actually, of women defending women in the public square on issues like this, and that isn't the case in every other country. And for instance, in my own country of origin, Britain, there have been very, very prominent women, not just in sports, but across the political and social platforms who have objected to precisely this.
Murray pointed out that even Matt Walsh saw the underlying danger of this issue years ago after seeing biological males change and physically dominate female competitors in combat sports. Radical activist groups praised Griner's comments, but female athletes have emerged to lead a fierce counter-protest. Prominent athletes, including two-time Olympian Sharon Davies and tennis player Martina Navratilova, harshly denounced Griner's account, pointing out that unfair biological competition has already cost nearly 14,000 female athletes opportunities in lower finishing positions. Martina Navratilova stated unequivocally that activists should stop trying to redefine feminism and accept the biological boundaries that protect women's places. Despite this enormous pushback from mainstream fans and sports stars, league management and vocal activists continue to push divisive agendas that alienate the great majority of basketball fans.
Decided to stand up for women and female spaces. And that woman is now getting lambasted by other women because she doesn't support transgender people in female spaces. Sophie Cunningham, who many of you will probably know from this video, recently got herself in hot water because she had the audacity to say that women and girls should be protected.
WNBA star Sophie Cunningham, who plays guard for the Indiana Fever, when an ESPN feature quoted her opposition towards biological men competing in women's sports. She said she wanted to protect young girls both on court as well as in the locker room, calling her position kind of common sense. It has everything to do with reality.
The WNBA leadership faces a difficult situation due to the tension between business vision and common sense. While courageous athletes like Sophie Cunningham risk public condemnation to uphold the integrity of women's sports, people like Gurrier continue to spread stories that arouse tremendous public outrage. The gap between players who stand up for the truth and those who hide behind corporate rhetoric has revealed deep divisions inside the league. However, when the media narrative began to go out of control, Griner's personal history abruptly emerged due to resurrected evidence and viral online investigations, creating an explosive situation that league officials are desperately trying to ignore.
To represent someone I respected as an athlete, today it represents something I can't support anymore. Sports have the power to bring people together, but when someone uses their platform to demonize or marginalize an already vulnerable community, I have to decide where I stand. I'm burning my support. As a trans woman, I've spent years fighting just to exist authentically.
I will never understand how these people think this is some sort of a win for their side. Like, I am begging you people to be normal. Despite the monumental freakout, Cunningham didn't back down, which we love to see.
As public scrutiny reaches an all-time high, the WNBA front office has been compelled to entirely restrict the damage due to viral conversations on various media platforms. A group of analysts on the popular commentary show Valuetainment looked at internet rumors, leaked video clips, and resurrected media footage regarding Griner's past, highlighting the main sports network's total silence regarding her period in Russian custody.
The WNBA's BRITTNEY GRINER is, in fact, a man.
Value, Brittany. Let me see something real quick. Brick, thank you. Get the fuck.
Damn.
Look at the chest.
Jab stepping, it's the brick. Swing and a miss.
It's very clearly Brittany.
I ain't gonna fake it right now.
They called him/her by their name. And as you can clearly see here, his bare chest is completely
Taxpayer-funded sports and educational activities must carefully respect biological fairness, whereas private sporting groups are free to try to push whatever narratives they like. The panel clarified that basic biological traits like lung capacity, bone density, and raw muscle power give male athletes an undeniable physical advantage over female competitors, making biological limitations in sports non-negotiable, according to analysts who pointed out the glaring double standards in how legacy sports outlets cover controversial league topics. This unchecked media frenzy makes it evident why the WNBA was losing money and struggling for mainstream relevance.
Cultural power. This is why the WNBA this is not going to go away. This issue is not going to go away. They're in such a bad position here. Caitlin Clark, they have cultural power. People love them. People are buying tickets that would never care about the WNBA. There's a reason why people call Sophie Cunningham MAGA Barbie, and people are starting to fill the arenas to watch her and Caitlin Clark. She's not apologizing for saying that there should be no men in this woman's sport. It's caused an absolute crisis. People are losing their mind.
Caitlin Clark is an absolute all-star. She is the Michael Jordan of this. This is the girl that girls have been waiting for forever.
Caitlin Clark is a rising star in women's basketball. She's pulling in crazy viewership numbers.
These women spent $1,000 on tickets to attend the Indiana Fever versus Atlanta Dream game, specifically to see Sophie.
The sport was drastically altered overnight before the legendary Caitlin Clark joined the league decades ago. She filled arenas around the nation, broke watching records, and gave women's basketball previously unheard of commercial significance. Millions of ardent sports fans rushed to the stadium to see Clark's exhilarating play style, incredible shooting range, and pure love of basketball, proving that they prefer great basketball over forced political drama. However, rather than properly conserving and respecting Clark's historic value, league administration and activist pundits routinely allow divisive cultural debates to dominate the game. Athletes like Sophie Cunningham, who stand up to defend their peers and advance biological common sense, reflect the huge majority of sports fans who simply want fair competition and true physical greatness. Meanwhile, ordinary Americans who value athletic integrity are growing increasingly hostile to those who support the elimination of biological boundaries, such as BRITTNEY GRINER. The buzzer upgrade for today is now complete. What began as just another discussion about the WNBA has evolved into a much larger discussion about women's basketball's future, sports fairness, media coverage, and what professional leagues should do when contentious issues come up. Athletes, public celebrities, and analysts have all had strong opinions throughout this saga. BRITTNEY GRINER, Martina Navratilova, Matt Walsh, Sophie Cunningham, and other voices have joined a broader conversation that is obviously not going away anytime soon. Beyond the personalities and contentious debates, however, one crucial question still has to be answered. What should women's sports look like in the future? Should leagues prioritize the competition in order to maintain fairness and keep athletes at the forefront of discussions? Or should professional sports organizations actively participate in more general discussions about culture and society? Without a question, women's basketball has reached a significant turning point. The WNBA has received a great deal of attention due to the popularity of players like Caitlin Clark, which has also drawn new fans, raised interest in games, and made it possible for the sport to reach a wider audience. Because of this, league leadership decisions are more crucial than ever. Conversations concerning inclusion, fairness, gender, and eligibility are also quite complex. Fans and players differ in their perspectives and experiences, and rather than being reduced to catchphrases, those opinions merit an open discussion. We would now want to hear from you. How do you feel about the points made in today's narrative? Do you concur with the criticism aimed at the WNBA? In women's sports, What part should biological disparities play? And how do you feel about the various stances taken by BRITTNey Griner and SOPHIE Cunningham? Please share your opinions in the comments section below. And keep in mind that you can participate in the discussion without having to agree with everyone. Be courteous in the conversation. Tell us what you believe the WNBA should do in the future. In order to ensure that you never miss another significant WNBA news, please hit the like button, subscribe to the Buzzer Update, and enable notifications. A breakthrough or update from Caitlin Buzzer. Additionally, forward this video to other basketball enthusiasts who might be interested in participating in the conversation. Your contributions enable the channel to keep providing you with the most recent discussions and stories from across the women's basketball globe. There is obviously a lot more to come, and this discussion will continue regardless of what happens next. We appreciate you viewing the Buzzer Update. We'll see you in the upcoming video, so keep informed and involved. The biggest WNBA headlines are dissected in the Buzzer Update.